We welcome you to Blues Game Day Live here from Minnesota alongside Kelly Chase, Darren Pang. It is the day after the trade deadline day and a lot of anticipation all around the league. Many teams, because they're in a position of competing for the Stanley Cup, really put some moves and added. Chaser sitting around Minnesota on an off day. It's a CBA-mandated off day. It was tough watching players go around wondering what was going to happen, and then to find out their good buddy Paul Stastny had been traded to the Winnipeg Jets.
You know, it's a nervous time of the year, I think, for guys. There's no question about that. I think it's also, you know, there's tension because the team judges the moves. It's just human nature based on what, you know, the level of excitement on the player that they get. And they believe that, you know, you get to see the faith that management may or may not have in the team that you have. So, tough day for the Blues yesterday. You mentioned it earlier, Paul Stastny going. I think Paul Stastny, for the most part, at some points was underappreciated for all of the things that he did and was such a professional. And again, you got to give him kudos he made the Blues organization better for the future by allowing a trade to go through that he didn't have to agree to. Yeah,
and you know, it says a lot about the city of Winnipeg gets rubbed on the wrong way sometimes because of how cold it is. And when you go downtown, there doesn't look like a whole lot going on. But it's a great hockey city. And players that have played there before, they all have enjoyed it, going back to the Dale Howardchuk and the Randy Carlyle days. But it shows you where the Winnipeg Jets are at right now. We saw that team trending 4 years ago, Chaser, where we thought this is going to be one heck of a team real soon. And to get Paul Stastny there as a left-handed centerman, and I give Paul, as you do, a lot of credit. We know Paul, the person, the character that he is, and that's why he's got such good friends on the team. That's why he was so hard. He treats people right. He's a real leader in that locker room. But I think having the ability to go there and having so many right-hand shots, like he may end up with Nikolai Ehlers on the left and Patrick Laine on the right, or maybe he gets Blake Wheeler on the right side. And it's one thing that Paul didn't have in St. Louis was that right-handed shot, the guy that could go hard to the net that was a legitimate sniper. So he's going to have that. He's going to have the time of his life over there with Paul Maurice in Winnipeg. On the other side of it, Chaser, I thought the Blues got a lot back. I mean, they get a first-round pick in 2018. They get another pick. And they get a really good prospect in Eric Foley that's playing at Providence. So it's not often you can get, I don't know whether to determine, is he a B, B+, is he an A-, is he an A+ prospect? We won't know that for the time. But we do know that the people we've talked to are really impressed with this young man.
Right, they are. And I know that's no solace to the fans or everybody. They're expecting big things out of this team right now. But sometimes in this league, the hardest thing to do is be patient. And I think with the things that the Blues have with Tage Thompson, Kyrou Thomas, the guys that were talked about,
Klim
Kostin,
Vince Dunn,
Dunn, Wallman, Schmaltz. Yep. There's a great future, and it seems like it's redundant. Well, you say that a lot, but we really do, because of this salary cap era, have to retool. I think that you look at Tampa, a team that didn't make the playoffs a year ago, traded Ben Bishop, who was their top goaltender at the time. And here they are now, just a year later, looking at going for the Stanley Cup. So the injuries had an impact on it, with Schwartz being out at the start of the year, Fabry. And then, of course, what they've done in the last 6 games, I think, really helped put the final nail in the coffin for the management on whether or not we were good enough this year. And that's not to say this team shouldn't make the playoffs. This team should still make the playoffs. There's enough tools there.
Yeah, and these are gut-wrenching, gut-check times, and I'm looking at maybe some potential lines. So let's move forward to tonight's game against the Minnesota Wild, because as you mentioned, Chaser, very, very much in this. How many teams wouldn't mind being in the blue spot right now and have a chance to make the playoffs? But I'm looking at a line maybe for tonight with Schwartz, Schenn, and Soshnikov is a really good possibility. For anybody that watched the last game, Soshnikov, you're going to like this kid. We've said that before.
Competitive.
Very competitive. Guy. Maybe you got Steen. Now Barbashev gets back to the center ice position. It was only last year against the Minnesota Wild in the first round. For 4 of the 5 games, he was the number 1 centerman with Paul Stastny injured.
Right.
So he goes back to center with Tarasenko on the right side. We'll see if they can get some little bit of a spark right there. From that point on, I'm not sure where it's going to go, other than Brodziak and Berglund in the middle of the ice. And I would imagine Tage Thompson plays on the right side. But, I'm looking forward to seeing these top 6 and seeing what they've got and seeing what kind of spirit they've got early in this game, because we could expect the other way, because they're still thinking about teammate gone and no additions and where are we? Oh, woe is me.
Right.
But I have a feeling this group of guys are going to muck it up together and see what they can find as a team here.
A lot of fun to find out what they're made of. A lot of fun to find out if if they can grit their way through it and get the city kind of rallied and really, in my opinion, there's a great opportunity to make the playoffs and have a huge education that you can't pay for. So that would be neat to see that.
Yeah, like getting a guy like Tage Thompson or Vince Dunn, Sochnikov in the playoffs, that is vitally important for them to experience a
activated,
4-game, 5-game,
feeling
6-game.
confident.
Exactly.
That's the thing, and then there's nothing like those life experiences in this league.
Starts with the goaltenders, and clearly they both know that. They had a meeting yesterday with the goalie coach Dave Alexander, both Jake Allen and Carter Hutton. And I know they want to rally the troops. I would expect that Jake Allen gets the nod again in goal tonight. They've kept him in for the last two. I thought he battled in the last game. Didn't get a lot of help defending. I think the Blues got to tighten things up on the defensive side. Doug Armstrong said that as well. We've got to get back to playing defense in front of your goaltenders as well.
Right.
No better way to start than this one. Well, this team is rolling right here in Minnesota.
It's rolling, and they've found ways to win in every situation. Coming from behind with leads, early leads, late in hockey games, overtime. The game the other night against San Jose, they just kept at San Jose until they browbeat them into the ground and ended up beating them in overtime. So a very tough match tonight, but no better place to start knowing that they're a team that you got to climb over.
That was like me last night with you, browbeating you. Like
yeah, you did.
Like
you did. Yeah, one tequila after another.
Listen, big boy, let's look forward to the game tonight.
All right.
Okay, on KMOX, game time is 6:30 pregame show, 7 o'clock puck drop. Same thing on NBC Sports Network. I'm going to be working with Kenny Daniels of the Detroit Red Wings.
You're kind of becoming a big wheel, eh?
Not really. We'll see you tonight, everybody. Enjoy the game.